So the latest fund that we have has been structured into basically very early stage fund. This is called Discovery Fund, which allows us to now participate and invest in entrepreneurs very early on, from seed pre-A to early Series A stage, and then for the later stage fund, which is our main fund, will allow us to continue to help the company as they grow from Series A, B, C, even up to IPO. The reason why we did this restructuring instead of putting it as one fund is that we want the fund to be catered to the entrepreneur. So if you're an entrepreneur who just left Alibaba, who's starting to think about who you want to talk to, the chance of you talking to investors with a discovery fund that can come in earlier, that can actually understand the risk that you're taking, is actually very important to the entrepreneur. If we have one fund with 40 portfolio company, and companies tend to be, say, later stage, late Series A or Series B, then obviously you don't have to add a lot more support. But now with a discovery fund, the idea here is to fund entrepreneurs and talent very early on. So we do expect that now we are going to have CEOs at different stage of development. So to support them in different stage of development, GGV over the last 2 to 3 years, we've also built up what we call our Portfolio Services Support team. The Portfolio Services Support team will cover functions like legal, finance, PR marketing, even government relations, so that as companies, if you are a 2-person startup at your early Series A seed stage, what you're going to need is not huge strategic advice. It's a lot more, okay, I need to hire my next management team member, maybe my next CTO, engineers. And so for that type of services, we can get our HR recruitment team to actually help them. Now, as companies grow, the consideration may be more multifold. So they may now want to expand, say, from China to the US market, from China to the Southeast Asia market, right? In that situation as well, our PR marketing team can also help them if they are launching their new product. GGV, we started 2016 years ago with this model. So when we first started, I would say that most entrepreneurs and most companies are more local, right? So US companies want to spend their focus just addressing the US market. Chinese companies says, let's win the China market first. So when you think about the mobile internet and what mobile internet has done, it's actually bring the two markets a lot closer. In fact, it's bring global markets closer together with technology. And because of that, we are now seeing startups actually think about global from day one. A lot more. I wouldn't say that 100% of all companies think about global, but I would say from the companies that we are meeting, at least 30 to 40% of those companies actually think about it. If you are a game developer and in China, you're going to try and develop a game that you can publish internationally, both on the iOS platform and the Android platform. So increasingly, definitely, the world is becoming more integrated. Technology platforms are becoming more standardized, which means that for companies, you actually have to start thinking global earlier. Uber in the US should have thought about ride sharing globally first, right? So the fact that they started in the US, came to China late, meant that they gave the China player a chance to do it locally. While on the technology side, the product, the services may look similar, it's actually very important for a US company to realize that the target audience is different. So you may be a US company catering to a US consumer group, but with a product. But when you take this product and you come to China, you have to actually localize it, because the Chinese consumer may not act, react, and spend the way a US consumer does, while the technology stack may be the same. And so for US companies, they need to understand that the consumer market is actually different. They need to be ready to localize their product, even change the feature to address local markets, number one. Number two, the Chinese market is not just another city in the US. It's a completely different country with a different regulatory framework and a different history in terms of growth of last 15 years of technology. And so to come into this market, definitely you have to respect the market, right? And so work with the local players, work with the local regulations, and if need to be, I think US companies need to consider a completely separate team who can run autonomously in the China market. So when PC market first started, PC internet first started, it was the horizontal player, the Alibaba who does commerce, the Baidu who does search, or Google who does search, and then of course respectively the Tencent of the world that does social. They are able to take on a huge horizontal need and market. As the PC market becomes more and more mature, in 05 and 06, 04, 05, 06, you start to see internet becoming verticalized. So you will have Ctrip or China for travel. You're gonna have Shenda, Perfect World, NetEase for gaming. You're gonna have 51 Jobs for HR. So this is where now you start to have more content, more verticalization, specific services that will grow from the internet. So when we think about mobile internet, actually the same thing is going to happen. And that now obviously on top of that, the leverage, using mobile internet now not just as a reading device or a dashboard. It's gone beyond, right? As we talk about ride sharing, now we're using it as a tool to actually get access to services, to order your rides, to get your food delivered, to get information about buying your next house. So it's now actually mobile now. It's now a enabling device to now get you better services around your daily life. And with this data, what that means is that you can now do better data profiling, data analytics, and therefore with the right data, and this is very personalized data around you, you can actually now start to have very good recommendation. So when people talk about learning, deep learning or AI, the word may be huge, but actually it's about giving you what you need at the time you need it. And to do that better, you need data, right? And the smartphone, actually, because you carry it with you all the time, sometimes you look at it even before you fall asleep. So that level of data would enable a lot better and more personalized services.